Here's an admission. I was in the press 2 weeks ago. They said, how would you describe your next movie? I said, it's like Brewster's Millions meets Barry Lyndon. And he got a big laugh. And then I thought, shit, I better watch Barry Lyndon. If you're talking about firsts, I can't get past saying The Champ. Dozens of us crammed into the lounge watching that boxing movie, which I remember loving. And then that very sad scene with Ricky Schneider at the end. Don't die, champ, don't die.
Champ, wake up!
And I just remember all the men leaving the room to cry in the kitchen, you know, and that sort of thing. And then the other one would be the original Pete's Dragon, which was the first film we rented when we had a VHS player. So sorry if it's not too highbrow. Anthony Hopkins was the first actor that I recognised by being a great actor in my tiny young brain. It would have to be Remains of the Day when I was a bit older, when he played the butler. And he does that thing, he's by the window and he says, "I read, Miss Kenton. I read to further my command of the English language." And she's like, "Oh, it's just a little daft romantic novel." You just know it breaks him in two. I think he always made weird choices as an actor. And the best actors make the weird choices. I'd say Anthony Hopkins was the first one that made me go, oh, I'd love to be able to try and do that, you know? And a scene that I love is the petrol station scene in No Country for Old Men, where Javier Bardem turns on the petrol attendant.
Call it, yes. For what? Just call it.
The petrol attendant gives the most incredible performance. Light and shade and backstory and emotional depth and resonance and tragedy and humor. All the while, they've got this big predator that's breathing down his neck. I think that scene is brilliant. When we filmed the pill-taking sequence in Almond and Seahorse, my character, who is suffering from a traumatic brain injury, keeps forgetting where he leaves the cigarettes around the room, which was a big piece in the stage play and a big piece in the script and a big piece in the film. Yeah, that was a unique moment. And I thought if we captured that, we had half a chance of doing, you know, getting the film done, kind of thing. So that was a big moment for me. I also had my pants ripped off by a border terrier when I did Lassie years ago. Is that more what you're looking for?
I think you should have led with that, yeah.
I really enjoyed Scrapper. It was believable because the relationship was complex as life is, and any story where young kids are trying to do well, I find very, very moving. You know, or you can go and see the movies that I'm in. Get to the cinema, you know, by hook or by crook, go and see something. I love The Commitments. It's set in Ireland in the early 90s, and they decide to create a soul band.
Soul.
I love the energy of it, I love the humor, and I love the music. And then I had the albums from the film just on loop. But what's brilliant is the albums are by the band who are put together in the film, so you sort of feel like it's got a real experience to them. But I just love them. Alan Arkin as the grandfather in Little Miss Sunshine, where she says, "Grandad, am I pretty?" And he says,
You are the most beautiful girl in the whole world. I'm madly in love with you, and it's not because of your brains or your personality. It's because you're beautiful, inside and out.
The way he does it, you go, yeah, he is madly in love with her as a grandfather. And that relationship, yeah, that how open he is to show that kind of affection and be what she needs at that moment in time. He just happens to be a philandering drug addict grandfather, you know. But you can't, his heart is firmly in the right place, and I love, you know, he would be a good grandfather. It's hilarious that I'm quite well known for playing these monsters, where actually all my answers are really gooey and sentimental. Alfred Hitchcock, just making the films he wanted to make wearing a suit, driving around beautiful vistas. Obviously, I'll put all the dodgy stuff aside. You know, treating my actors a bit better. The edited life of Alfred Hitchcock, for sure. Hanging out with Cary Grant. That just seems like real Hollywood. I mean, I love Scrapper, but, you know, I don't need to go and hang out on that estate. I'll go to the south of France with Cary Grant and Grace Kelly. At school as a kid, it would have been Nightmare on Elm Street. In all honesty, I watched that when I was 42. That was definitely lying about that film for 30 years. Here's an admission. I was in the press 2 weeks ago saying what they said, how would you describe your next movie? And I said, it's like Brewster's Millions meets Barry Lyndon. And it got a big laugh. And then they wrote it in Variety. And then I thought, shit, I better watch Barry Lyndon.
You are a liar. You're an imposter. You're a deserter.
I'm going to own it. Do you know what I mean? For sure. I'm never going to watch it out of belligerence.
There's one way of guaranteeing you're never going to watch it.